I want you all to close your eyes. Imagine running your fingers on anything sharp, a blade, a razor, even broken glass. Does it hurt? Did you get a bit of blood from running your fingers on it too fast? Now imagine being held down by your parents on the ground of a dark hut, naked, with nothing underneath you but sand and rocks. You start fighting it, you start yelling and screaming with the most heart-wrenching pain you have ever felt. Your genitals are being sliced off against your will, and there is nothing you can do about it. Now open your eyes. You, my friends, are safe, but this is not the case for more than 6,000 girls worldwide every day. This practice is called female genital mutilation, or put simply, cutting, and it must be stopped. Today I will be speaking about the dangers and consequences of female genital mutilation and why it must be stopped, and how we can directly affect the girls in need of our help. Female genital mutilation, or FGM, is important to talk about because it includes several types of procedures. It has a tendency to be associated with girls who live in a male-dominated society, and it has many consequences that can be life-altering and potentially life-threatening. To understand the dangers of female genital mutilation, we must first understand the types of procedures involved with this dehumanizing practice. There are four main categories of female genital mutilation. Number one is clitoridectomy. Number two is excision. Number three is infibulation. And number four is unclassified. Type 1 is clitoridectomy, and it is the removal of the clitoris. This is done to decrease a woman's ability to achieve orgasm in the hopes of keeping her from having sex. This has no medical benefits. Type 2, called excision, is removal of the clitoris together with part of the labia minora. Oh, is it still on? Okay. Or the inner vaginal lips. Again, this has no medical benefits. It is the most common type of FGM, making up about 80% of cases in Africa, according to the U.S. State Department. It is extremely dangerous to the health of the girls and women on which it is performed. These are some of the tools sometimes that is used to cut the girls with. You can see that it's a razor blade, some sort of sharp knife that is never cleaned. Type 3, called infibulation, is removal of or part of all of the external genitalia, which includes the clitoris, labia minora, and labia majora, and stitching or narrowing of the vaginal opening, leaving a very small opening to allow for the flow of urine and menstrual blood. This is the most dangerous form of FGM. Not only is it the most invasive, but the opening left is only about the size of a toothpick. Urine and menstrual fluid escape in drips, leading to chronic infections of the bladder and vagina. This is extremely hazardous to the physical, mental, and sexual health of women. Type 4, or other, involves all other harmful procedures to the female genitalia for non-medical purposes, including piercing, scraping, and cauterizing the genital area, according to the World Health Organization. FGM is recognized internationally as a violation of the human rights of girls and women. It reflects deep-rooted inequality between the sexes and constitutes an extreme form of discrimination against women. It is nearly always carried out on minors, and it is a violation of the rights of children. The practice also violates a person's rights to health, security, and physical integrity, the right to be free from torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, and the right to life when the procedure results in death, according to the World Health Organization. You may be asking yourself, but why does this still exist? The answer is simple: tradition. Tradition that melds the fine line of dehumanization and custom. In these cultures all over Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, the male is still considered the dominant figure in society. In the documentary on FGM, The Cut, a young girl, Alice, speaks about how women in her Kenyan culture will answer no when she is asked if anyone is home and she is alone. Alice says that women in her culture do not see themselves as important enough to be considered as part of the tribe. They see themselves as reproductive organs with the sole intention of procreating. They are submissive creatures and do what the male in the family says. The traditionally male-dominated African culture uses this procedure to justify what they consider to be a pure marriage. They feel that female circumcision ensures that a woman is a virgin, a requirement to get married. It is believed that without a clitoris, you are less likely to engage in sexually deviant behavior. You may wonder, where does male virginity come into play? Male circumcision is a much less invasive procedure that does not affect their sexual enjoyment. Men are not forced to undergo this painful operation to prove themselves. So why do women have to? In addition, cultural beliefs about female sexuality add to the persistence of female circumcision. Their husbands and potential children are put in danger. These are widespread views that when females are not circumcised, their husbands and potential children are in danger. These unjustifiable worries force women to undergo a painful and dangerous procedure. In the documentary The Cut, Alice goes against tradition and decides not to get circumcised. But not following tradition comes at a high cost. 21-year-old Alice said that when she got married, her husband was perfectly fine with her decision to be uncircumcised. But as the days went on, and he started insisting, probably because of his peers and family and societal pressures, that she get cut. She says he would come home drunk and say, "Oh, you're just a kid," just mocking me in front of the children. The whole village is constantly watching me to see if I do anything negative, like to see if I go out and do prostitution, so they can rule out from there that it's because I'm not circumcised that I'm doing a lot of prostitution. FGM is often an extremely dangerous procedure which irreversibly alters a woman's reproductive organs. The procedure comes with serious health risks, both immediately and long-term. The rate of complication varies widely, anywhere from 13 to 69%, according to a World Health Organization report. Complication rates depend on sanitation, like these images, the age of the person on which FGM is being done, the experience of the practitioner, which type of FGM is being carried out, the tools used, and many other factors. FGM is not only dangerous immediately, there are many long-term health consequences, which includes chronic infections of the bladder and vagina. These are extremely common with type 3, where urine and menstrual fluid only escape in drips, which can lead to infertility with constant inflammation and infection. Other problems include extremely painful menstruation, excessive scar tissue at the site of the operation, and cysts at the stitch line. FGM also increases the risks of STIs during the procedure if the same instruments are used on several girls. Later in life, sex also comes with an increased risk of transmission, as circumcised vaginas can tear during sex. On top of these problems, pregnancy and sex are often made extremely painful and more risky by FGM. With type 3, a woman will relive the experience of FGM throughout her life. A midwife will be needed to cut her open on her wedding night and restitch her afterward. We must provide awareness on this topic and help decrease the amount of women suffering from this epidemic. We must provide awareness for those all over the world who are not able to do so for themselves. What will you do? Will you leave this room unchanged and untouched? I challenge all of you to act on your feelings after hearing the stories of Mary and Alice in Kenya. Take a minute out of your day to donate to organizations that will actually do something to spread awareness and educate girls and women, tribes, and entire communities all over Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. They have the power to influence directly, but you have the power to stand up for what you believe in and directly influence the organizations that help so many girls all over the world. Even if it's $1 to $1,000, anything is help. And if we do not take charge of those around us in need, who will? Please do what you can to make a difference today. Alice, as well as countless girls and women all over the world affected by this inhumane practice, will thank you.